Hey everyone, what is up? You're watching part 2 of the October 2015 Super Nintendo Collection Quest video. If you missed the first part, I will put a link in the description below so you can check that out. But basically, I just got so many games for the month of October that I had to split it into 3 parts. Speaking of gaming in October, one of the games I always used to love coming back to and playing in the month of October is Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Ever since it came out, I've been playing it year after year, and I'd progress a little bit each year. Maybe sometimes I'd start over if I lost my save, and I didn't mind because it's just such a wonderful game, and the music is just fantastic, and it just totally sets the mood for the month of October. You know, Halloween, and I love playing that. And really, I played it like every year up until about, I don't know, I'd say 4 or 5 years ago, and that is when I basically maxed out everything. I got all of the rare weapons, everything you could possibly do, I did. I got the over 200% map completion, you know, I found everything in the game. I guess I'm just gonna have to find new games each year, and this year I did pick up Corpse Party Blood Drive on the PlayStation Vita. I was really excited to try playing this until everyone told me that I need to play the first 2 games before playing this one. So I guess I'm not playing this year. There's no way I'm going to get through the first 2 games before Halloween anyway. Maybe I will play Dracula X. I played it a little bit back when it first came out. I played it a little bit, but I haven't really played it much since then, and it seems like a pretty cool game. Not as in-depth as Symphony of the Night, but it looks really cool for sure. Some great graphic effects, and it'll play a little bit differently than Castlevania 4 as well. But anyway, let's just get right to the games. So to continue the game pickups for this month, I got number 593, Super Batter Up. Super Batter Up was released by Namco in 1992. You can play against the computer or with a friend. It features MLBPA licensing, but not MLB, which basically means you'll get the real player names, but not the team names, which is no big deal. It feels like a pretty solid baseball game on the Super Nintendo. I had fun pitching and keeping the other team from scoring, but I couldn't figure out how to bat well enough to actually score any points. It probably would have helped if I had the instruction manual, but I couldn't even find an online manual or any information on properly hitting the ball. Otherwise, I was able to get the hang of everything else alright. Namco games are usually pretty well made. And of course, it wouldn't be a proper Namco game if Pac-Man didn't at least make an appearance. Number 594, Wolfenstein 3D. The Super Nintendo version of Wolfenstein 3D was released in 1994. It shares the same game engine as Super Noah's Ark 3D. And while the Super Nintendo version is censored to remove Nazi symbols, Hitler, and gore, it's still a lot of fun to play. The enemies speak English now since the story has changed and it no longer takes place in Nazi Germany. The game does support the Super Nintendo mouse, but it controls great with just the gamepad. Utilizing the L and R buttons for strafing, you are able to easily strafe turn, giving you good control for peeking around corners. As with the original, there's lots of secret passages, treasure, and power-ups to find. The Super Nintendo version also includes a flamethrower, rocket launcher, overhead map, and backpacks that store additional ammo, which didn't appear in the original PC release. At the end of each level, you'll be given a password so you can resume your progress. While this isn't the most graphically impressive version of Wolfenstein 3D, it's still plenty of fun, and it is interesting to see the changes from the PC version. Number 595, the Flintstones. The Flintstones, also known as Flintstones the Movie, was released in 1995. It is an action platformer with some really nice animation and graphics. You can attack with your club, throwing rock, or bowling ball. The bowling ball and rocks are limited in quantity, but you can pick up more along the way, and if you're careful not to throw them off a cliff, you can actually pick them back up. There's something really satisfying about throwing rocks at enemies in this game. I don't know if it's the way it bounces off their face or what, but it just feels right. There's usually a boss battle at the end of a series of stages, and there are some oddball stages thrown in, like this one where you have to keep Bam Bam and Pebbles from hitting the ground as they bounce around collecting gems. There are passwords so you can resume your progress, but even still, this game is pretty challenging. I had to start from the beginning several times in the first set of quarry levels. You don't get your first password until you've completed all of the quarry levels, including the quarry boss. Regardless, the Flintstones is a fun, nice looking game on the Super Nintendo. Number 596, I'm surprised at how difficult this one was to find, NHL 98. As a result of NHL 98 coming out at the end of the Super Nintendo era, and the new 3D versions of NHL 98 available on next-gen consoles, not as many copies of the 16-bit version were sold, making this a bit more hard to come by than the other NHL games for the Super Nintendo. The game plays mostly the same as NHL 97, which isn't a bad thing. The EA Sports NHL games have always been great on 16-bit platforms. New to this version is a skills competition, which allows you to practice the controls and playing the game proficiently. Number 597, Rise of the Phoenix. Rise of the Phoenix was released in 1995 and is another game from Koei's historical simulation series. I have to admit, I'm not a fan of these games. They are very difficult for me to get into, although I can see how they could become quite fun once you've mastered the mechanics. The best part about this game for me is the music. It just has that unique quality Super Nintendo sound. Maybe one day I'll figure out how to play these games and come back to them, but for now, I just don't have the desire. Number 598, Tiny Toon Adventures Wacky Sports Challenge. Tiny Toon Adventures Wacky Sports Challenge was released in 1994 by Konami. I loved playing Buster Busts Loose, and Wacky Sports Challenge maintains the same charm and quality game design. This game plays as a collection of mini-games. You can compete against the computer or versus a friend. There are a ton of mini-games here, and they all feature bright, colorful graphics with good play control. When starting the game for the first time, you'll begin on the easy set of games. Each minigame will have a qualifying requirement. You'll need to earn a certain number of points to move on to the next game. Once you clear all of the games, you'll receive a password and be allowed to play the next set of more difficult games. Some will be brand new, others are harder versions of previous games. Overall, pretty fun game, I'd play it again. And finally, to wrap up part 2, I picked up number 599, Kirby's Dream Course. Kirby's Dream Course was released in 1995. It is also known as Kirby Bowl in Japan, but it's really more of an advanced mini-golf style of game. You can play the game one-on-one with a friend, or you can create a profile and play the single-player game. It features a save battery to record your progress. There are several sets of courses to complete along the way, and you'll need to complete them within a certain number of shots, or you'll need to start the set all over again. The game features many different advanced mechanics, but the basic goal is to hit each of the targets to reveal the hole. If you're skillful enough, you'll be able to hit all of the targets and make it into the hole in a single shot, otherwise known as a hole-in-one. Some of the more advanced mechanics include trigger switches, which activate or deactivate certain terrain obstacles, warp panels, and redirection panels. This game has a lot of charm, and it's a ton of fun to play. I originally played this game back when it first came out, and up until not too long ago, it was the only Kirby game I had ever played. I'd always assumed all Kirby games played like Dream Course, so when I saw my first regular Kirby game, I said, oh, this is a weird version of a Kirby game. And then I felt kind of stupid when I realized the one Kirby game I played was actually the weird one. Alright everyone, so that's all the games for this video. I'm curious though, which games do you guys like to play during October? What is a really fun, scary or dark game that you like to play? Let me know in the comments below. I'm just really curious on, and I'm trying to find something. I'm trying to find something to play this year. Like, I think I'll give Dracula X a try. If you guys have any suggestions, let me know. Alright, so that's it. Stay tuned for part 3, and it should be coming out soon, and I will see you later. Thanks for watching.